on and okay. Miss Grant loves to advocate for the cause of children with special needs. And children with special needs, there are also adults with special needs, but she about children. I am sure that the Clarendon group for the disabled represent both adults and children with, and perhaps she will not only speak to us about disability, but perhaps will also speak about the work of the Clarendon group person. I'm going to invite Ms. Brand to come now and to make her presentation. And following her presentation, we had promised you a special treat. And so just stay in your places and just that very special treat that we will after.
Good afternoon, members and visitors of Mapen Seventh-day Adventist Church. You're not as plenty. Wonder why? I'm going to ask you to give me a blind. That little blind is to add a little song that I love to sing to your song program. I'm going to ask you all to stand. And I want liveliness. You're not disabled. If you're happy and you know it, say amen. And in that song, we're going to do 4 activities. We're going to start with clap your hands, stamp your feet, nod your head, and say amen. After 2, 1, 2. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, stamp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, stamp your feet. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, stamp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, nod your head. If you're happy and you know it, nod your head. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, nod your head. If you're happy and you know it, say amen. If you're happy and you know it, say amen. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, say amen. If you're happy and you know it, do all 4. Amen. If you're happy and you know it, do all 4. Amen. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, do all 4. Amen. Wasn't that good? Amen. It was very good. You know what? You know why it was very good? Because I realized that you all have legs, all have arms, you all have lips, you all have voices, and you all have a head on your body. That is great. That is excellent. That is wonderful. You're not in a wheelchair. You're not using a walker. You're not doing any of those things. You're not an amputee. None of those things. I don't see it. That is wonderful. But at the same time, have you ever thought about all of those things? I don't think so, you know. Because a while ago when the song service was being done, it didn't sound like you had a voice at all. You know how many people are deaf, dumb, blind, not able to walk, not able to talk, and all of those things? There are many of those persons out there. According to the census, the last data received in 2001 from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, there is a total of 168 disabled persons in Jamaica. That was only 2001. So can you imagine 2016? And we don't reach nowhere yet in the year. So you should be happy today that you are able-bodied, you are able to move around and do your daily activities without being hindered. Before I continue, there are two words that Jamaicans have a misconception about. Can't guess the two words. Thank you very much. Brilliant. I wish I had a gold bar to give you right now. The word disability or disabled. Senator Floyd Morris explained it this, but I'm going to give you another definition. It's a condition that interferes with someone's ability to perform everyday activities. So it may be physical, may be sensory, it may be cognitive, or it may be mental. Handicap now is a disadvantage. So it is a disadvantage that results in an impairment or a disability. So Mrs. Royal, right, I doubt she can kick a ball right now. She's handicapped by whatever is happening to her leg. So there's the difference. So whenever we see someone with a special need, don't say, handicappy, wrong word. He or she has a disability or a special need. It's just so strange some of the time when I hear people talk about this. Because I am informed, when they say certain things, I laugh and I correct them at the end. So disabled and handicapped, they are two different things. The disability is the condition. Handicap is being disadvantaged by the fact that you have a disability. So an amputee is not able to drive. The handicap is that no legs, so he won't be able to drive. So those are the two misconceptions. And I hope from today onward, you'll be able to use the two words differently. Good? Thank you very much for answering me. It's good to hear your voice. You need to use it up more often. It's a blessing. Now, I gave the information about myself, the introduction, right? So I've been employed to Clarendon Group 2002. That is like, 14 years. I became the coordinator 6 years ago. As the coordinator of the group, before I get into all of that, Clarendon Group for the Disabled, located next to the street that is beside Palm Avenue. That is beside Brands Crescent. That's Mapen High School. Then there's a right turn off. That's Palm Avenue. It's a little house, as people would describe it, because it's actually a house. I know that many of you go by day in, day out, and you always see the sign, and you don't see nobody, and you always wonder if the disabled picnic them did they and all of those things. Yeah, I know. I get that a lot. But what actually happens, it's a community-based rehabilitation program. So that means they don't come to us, we go to them. So we work in the parish of Clarendon alone. So we have 5 trained field workers. We call them community rehabilitation therapists, CRT for short. And they are spread across the parish of Clarendon. We go as far as to Kellett. So these ladies, they go into the homes of the children with special needs, and they actually act as support, teach the parents rehabilitation techniques on how to deal with their children or their child with special needs. Because it's not an easy task, you know. When you're a mother and the baby born and you realize, say, something wrong, something not right, you know that denial sets in for some people, and that denial causes them not to move as quickly as they should. Now, our job is to go out there, educate, inform, sensitize, advocate, and all of those words you can use to cover information about disability. So we go into the clinics, we go into the hospitals, go into the basic school, the high school, and even churches. We invite ourselves to churches on a yearly basis. We don't get to you. But I must say that I am happy that Sonia Walker stopped by one evening. At that time when she came, it was closing up time. And she caught me. She was asking for somebody else to do the presentation. And I said, why, Miss Sonia, why you ask somebody? I am right here. So I am happy that I was there at the moment, because over the years, Jamaica has come a far way how they respond to disabled persons. Before I became a part of the group, I never thought about a disabled person. And right now, they're just like a normal person to me. For you, it may be different. You probably stare and wonder what happened and all of those. But disability, it can happen at any time at all. So don't think that you're too nice for it, you're too short for it, you're too tall for it, you're too fat for it. Don't think that. It can happen to anybody at any time. And any time don't mean 5 minutes from now. Anytime mean anytime. And there is the only thing that you can do is to be informed at the moment, because you cannot stop things from happening. It can just happen. So the information that we pass on to individuals out there is that most of the times it is geared towards the pregnant mothers, because health is very important overall. But when you're pregnant, it is triple important, because you need to ensure that you get the proper nutrition for yourself, so the baby can get the proper nutrition from you, so that you have a healthy baby, right? So we go into the clinics and we inform mothers about this. And some of the times, yes, they may treat themselves the best of their ability in terms of health. But things do happen, and the baby comes and something happens. Because they may be born for a few days, they're fine. And as time goes along, jaundice may set in. Measles may come along because mommy never get her vaccination. These things can happen. Infection that wasn't dealt with during the pregnancy. So these mothers, they are educated on things that might cause a problem to the unborn child. When the babies get here, pay attention. You need to pay attention. Not only the fact that if it is your own baby, if it's your grandchild, your niece, your nephew, your neighbor, your cousin, and they have a baby, pay attention. Because some of the times it is there, but based on the age of the child, the infancy at that stage, you can't notice. For example, what if the child is not seen properly? Babies don't see that well when they're just born. And you might see that the eyes are twitching. But months pass, years, probably a year pass, and you're saying, but the eyes are still twitching. Something must be wrong. Normally you'd hear something to follow, to put in front of the eyes to follow the eye, right? To let them follow. If they're not following, you need to go get it checked. Shake something at the ear. They're hearing properly in the left, in the right. They're not hearing in either one. Go get it checked. They start walking. The legs are not properly postured. Find out what is happening. Late development, club feet, all of these things can happen. So being educated in order to know what to look for is very important. So it's not only at home either, because church members are here who have young ones. And as a brother and a sister, sometimes it's hard for you probably to go to somebody and tell them, based on you don't know how the reaction would be. But at the end of the day, it's for the betterment of that individual and also for the child. Because early intervention is key. Carrying Group for the Disabled, we encourage persons to bring the child. Once you see a problem, you bring the child in from the ages of 0 to 6. It's best to work with them at that time. Much easier. We have gotten children over the age of 12 years. Disability already set in. Can't do nothing about that. But we actually, we sit there and we give them support. We also act as advocates in getting some of these special children into schools. We have gotten many of our children into the regular school system and also in special needs school system. So the little office that you see has done big things out in the field. We currently have 156 clients on our program. And of that 156, we have severe to moderate cases of either cerebral palsy, that is a physical condition, and also mental, something damage to the brain, causing hands or feet to be deformed. We also have Down syndrome. Autism is on the rise. It's a big one. And many of us, even ourselves, when we heard about autism, we were like, what is autism? And eventually, when we got wind of some training that the Ministry of Education was doing, the special education unit, we were informed about autism. It comes in different forms. Can be severe, can be mild, it can be different forms. Sometimes it's taken for hyperactivity, some children. So these things are things that you need to be informed about. So it's a good thing that the Maypen Seventh-day Adventist Church has done today in terms of Health Day with the theme, disability can happen at any time. In our everyday lives, accidents do happen. It's an accident because you don't know when it's going to happen. It just happen. Whether out on the road, whether you're at work, whether you're at school, whether you're at play, it happens at any time. These days we're hearing about car accidents that leads to death most of the times. But what about those who become paralyzed? Those who become amputees? What about those who they at some point in time, the trauma to the brain, over time, it has caused them deteriorate and become vegetables. So disability isn't something that I am going to come and tell Royalright and Mrs. Royalright, things say tomorrow you're going to walk, He can come anytime and I am not going to know and you're not going to know. So these are things that we go around and we inform people, and it is a matter of sensitization also. As I said, Jamaica has come a far way. I know that most of you, the grown folks in the church here, can probably tell you they had a special need person in the community back then, how they were scorned. Am I lying? Because they didn't know what it was about. We have had cases where persons lock up the children in the house because they think that people will stigmatize them based on the condition that they have. But over time, when we explain to them the situation and the things that they can do to get some level of independence, they come out and we tell them, listen to me, they can go to school. Because most people don't think they can go to school. We have cases where some persons didn't even know that deaf schools exist. There is a deaf school in Clarendon, in Woodside. There's a special ed school in Maypen, that's Hazard. Special ed at Hazard deals with those children who are slow learners. The Windsor School of Special Education, they have a campus now located at Rectorland next door to the bag factory, and the original school is done by next door to Denby Showground. Those schools, they deal with the more severe cases, wheelchair-bound. The children, they're able to learn, but physically, they have to be assisted with wheelchairs, walkers, and stuff like that. So these people are people. They need to be included in our society. And I'm happy that you have started the whole inclusion process. I went to use the bathroom this morning. You have a nicely done ramp. Nicely done ramp at the front and around there. That is excellent. Now you're letting these people know that, hey, come to church, man. We have a place for you. We have a place for you. Your wheelchair can come. We can lift you up too. We have members who can lift you up and carry you and come and sit and listen to the word of the Lord. That is good. Inclusion is key in helping these persons get some form of realization, say, I am a part of this society. My overall motto for life is that all people are important. Everybody is important. It doesn't matter what you do or what you look like. Every single person is, even the madman out the road, important. So you don't exclude anybody from your daily living, because the exclusion will cause them to deteriorate more. We have seen that in our daily visits to the homes and stuff like that. When you don't include them, like how I was not including you a while ago, I was looking over there, you don't feel left out. I'm going to include you now. When you don't include them, it acts as a more enabling factor to the fact that they have a disability. So the inclusion of these individuals is key in us moving forward and helping them to become a part of that 2030 vision. Jamaica a place to live, work, do business, and raise families, right? But we don't know what can happen. So we spoke about the pregnancy, infection, viruses, and you hear about the Zika V causing microcephaly in babies. You know that microcephaly is not new. Nothing new. They make it sound on the TV like it new. And it's not only Zika V. Zika V, well, based on the information that I am getting, my understanding is that people think that babies before who had microcephaly is because of Zika V there a long time. No go so. Have children with microcephaly, small brain, and you have children with hydrocephaly, that's the large brain. So many conditions are around us that we don't know the names of, that we don't even know that it is a disability. Possibility like some of us here have a disability and we don't even know. Because some of the times, physically you're fine, mentally you're not. You may write a word backwards. That's a disability. You read backwards. That's a disability. Your eyes twitching a little. That's a disability. You may stutter. That's a disability. So when you think about it, it is everywhere. It is all around us. So we need to just understand that, keep focus of the things that are happening around us and observant of the things that are happening. Because it can happen at any time. Violence, a big thing in our society. This morning, my friend over there was telling the children cases, gunshots, leading to paralysis. We have a whole heap of those cases. A whole heap. Crossfire, leading them into being a wheelchair. People have to be taking care of them because they're lying in one place. Violence in schools, stabbings. We have cases where children carry scissors to school. One stab to the head. It damaged some part of the brain. It damaged the left side. Damaged the right side. So the left foot can't move, the right foot can't move. These things happen. Domestic violence. Leaving the children in the home. Fire. They go near the stove. Knife. Simple little things like these we don't pay attention to. We leave the little ones with our next little one. You have to pay attention. Because these things do happen. Some of the times we are so, it's not a matter of carelessness, but some of the times we don't think. We don't think about the things that can happen. Because you may be in the kitchen and your little one is there with you. But you don't know that he or she is behind you. You turn around with the hot pot, right in the child's face. That child is deformed for life. Car is going to be there for a long time. So these things happen and it can happen at any time at all. So you just need to know and to be observant and to be watchful of some of the little things that can cause these issues. So we spoke about accident, we spoke about violence, we spoke about infections and disease. What about aging? Aging. Well, not only aged persons get a stroke. These days, the young ones are getting a stroke. A stroke can lead to a disability. And we all know that. With aging comes arthritis, limiting your movement, diabetes leading to glaucoma, get blind, diabetes leading to amputation of a leg or an arm. Just regular illnesses that you never expected that they would cause you to be stopped in your track, needing somebody to assist you. I realize that you're looking at me like, is that the reaction? I know that's the reaction. But I'm glad that I'm able to tell you so you can think about it. Because there's no good health without good mental health, you know. And a part of mental health is to be informed. So I'm glad that I'm here to inform you so that you know what to look for and when to look for it. So when you go there today, I know that you're probably going to see a baby and look at the baby and say, what a baby they look so? They look Down syndrome-ish. You know? Yeah, Down syndrome is one of the obvious ones. Obvious sign of a problem. The Down syndrome is just the physical feature. But what comes along with Down syndrome is the slow development. So the child is able to do what a normal child does, but it's going to be a bit slower. So they may start talking probably about 4 or 5. They may start walking at about 5. So when we look at disability, we mustn't consider it as only physical. Trauma to the brain, plus 1. Maybe wiping the house, fall, you hit your head. You don't die, but it causes damage to a section of the head that tells the rest of your body to move around. So I want you to just think on these things. Miss Sonia, how my hours going? I have 5 minutes. I am going to use my 5 minutes to make an appeal. It's an appeal based on my organization's staff. We are a non-government agency. Government don't help us. When I went to Clarendon Group, that's when I learned to beg. I'm a good beggar. And the begging entails me soliciting funds to cause the organization to go on. Me soliciting funds to help a child with medication, hygiene products, clothes, shoes, all house too. Because most of these families, they are below poverty line, as we would say. They need help. Now, the organization is in a state where we have lost one of our major funders from Germany. And I'm trying now to see what I can do to get people to come on board and help us to continue. So I am making an appeal to you, church members, and those who are not here, just pass on the word. Cash or kind, it don't matter. Anything at all. Once it is something where you'd like for yourself, pass it on to somebody else if you don't need it. Because there are people out there who need help. And some of the times we are just sitting in our own little boxes and not knowing what's happening on the outside of those little boxes. So until somebody probably tells you, or until you see it for yourself, that is the time you're going to realize what is happening. There are many disabled children in the parish of Clarendon. I only tell you that I have 156 because they are registered. But what about those who don't born yet? And what about those who are still hiding because they're fearful that Mas John knows say them have a child with a disability? There are many more to come. We can't stop it, but at the end of the day, we have to be prepared for it. Our organization has done many things for some of these families. I told you about school inclusion, medical supplies, clothing, house, and all of these things. So with your help, we can continue to do the work that we're doing. And at the end of the day, we can all fight disability with ability. To close it off, I'm going to do a poem that was written by our former rehabilitation nurse. It's entitled, and I hope you learned something from it. Disability is a fact of life. It is not a fantasy. It enters any home, from pauper to royalty. Some people don't accept it, while others turn their backs. But even if we don't admit it, it can stop us in our tracks. Persons with disabilities can teach us how to live. Courage, strength, and fortitude are the examples they give. Persons with disabilities have dreams and aspirations and all the needs of their own generation. Everyone has self-esteem, pride, and dignity, and can make a contribution despite their disability. Let's create opportunities, skills, and education. Help persons with disabilities take their place with the nation. Let us clear the barriers, get them out of the way, for we too could stumble on this very day. Thank you for having me.
You can do better than that to show your appreciation for the presentation. Thank you very much, Mr. Grant. And I that the of us who are here, we have heard you and your appeal, and I'm sure that some of us that appeal. Thank you again, and I'm sure we will see what may venture. Okay, so we promised you a video, your presentation on life of a gentleman was born without hands and without feet, and really handsome. No, right? When you see the book, you will understand. His name is Nick. Nick. Let's call him that for the time being. Last name not so easy to pronounce, but just call him Nick Vu for the time being. And he was born without arms and without legs. Notwithstanding, he overcame his disability to live an independent, rich life, becoming a model for anyone seeking true happiness. He is now an internationally successful motivational speaker and express his central message, which is the most important goal for anyone is to find their life's purpose despite whatever difficulties or seemingly impossible odds stand in their way. So we are now going to view the video presentation, and I hope that it will inspire all of us so that we will understand that life is possible to live successfully in spite of any disabilities that we might have.
Wonderful to be here, guys. My name is Nick Vujicic, and I'm here to motivate you and inspire you to be all that you can be in your new endeavors in your life. I have no limbs, but a lot of people, when they come up to me, they don't know exactly how to, greet me. Do they shake my hand? If you see me down the hall, just come up and give me a hug. I'm a hugging machine, and trust me, ladies, I won't lay a hand on you or anything. It's all good. A lot of people look at me and, they ask me a lot of different questions as to, Nick, how come you always smile? And, what are the secrets to your success? And today I want to share with you the principal core values, the pillars of strength that have given my life just a perspective to really overcome any challenge. Everybody get a blank piece of paper and get a pen. Everybody say the word me. Very good. I want you to write that word on the top left of your corner, of the page, top left corner of the page. And on the top right of your corner, write down goal. So top left, me, top right, goal. And then in between those two words, put a question mark. You see, this is my book up here, and let's say that I want to reach this book. Let's say that's my goal, okay? And so here I am, and there's my goal. Now, I can either complain about, well, if only I had arms and legs, it would be easier. If only if you're starting a marketing campaign or marketing, multi-level marketing business or this business or that business. For me, my goal was to be a speaker. And I used to think to myself, well, if only I had some training, then I would be, maybe ahead. Or maybe that would make it easier. Well, if only doesn't do anything for anybody. You know what? Complaining about the things that you don't have ain't going to help anything or anybody. Today, I want you to first of all understand that whatever goal you have in your mind, in your heart, finish this sentence. Are you ready? You know this very well. Are you ready? You don't know what you can achieve until you, very good. Until you try, you do not know what you can achieve. You do not know your full potential until you start pushing the limits. And when you fail, not if you fail, well, what am I going to do? No, we all may fail at something, but we are not failures. You know, what prevents you from trying? Fear of failing, fear of what other people think. Fear, well, what if this is not my gig? What if this is just down the wrong track? There are rational fears and there are irrational fears. Imagine my parents. I was actually born with no limbs, no medical reason why. I have a brother and sister born after me. They have arms and legs, no disabilities at all down the line or in our family. And imagine my parents, their fear. They had rational fear, and then they also had irrational thoughts or irrational fears. The doctors had rational fears. There were a lot of unknown. When I say the word unknown, probably the word fear comes to you. What I want to talk about, first of all, are the fears that are irrational. F-E-A-R, false evidence appearing real. F-E-A-R, false evidence appearing real. And what I'm talking about are the irrational lies and the voices in your head saying, Nick, you can't do this. Nick, this is too much of a goal for you. Nick, you have no arms, no legs. You know, you're thinking, well, you need some good communicating skills to get people to buy the product that you want to sell right now. Or maybe you're not the best marketer. Maybe you're not the most articulate speaker. For me, in my life, I had no other example to work from. I never met anybody else like me until very much later on in life. I never knew that I could write with my foot until I tried. I didn't know that I would eventually type 43 words a minute on a normal computer. I never thought that, you like that? I never thought that I'd ever go to, high school and college and do a double degree in accounting and financial planning. My parents never dreamt of me becoming a real estate investor at 19. I never thought that I'd go into options trading on the stock market at age 22. And to be able now as a speaker to have 27,000 invitations on file for me to speak is just blew my mind. I mean, just to see that success. But no one wakes up with success like that. You don't just wake up and boom, you got 27,000 emails saying, Nick, can you come and speak? It just doesn't happen that way. Where is your goal and where are you today? Today is your greatest asset. Talk about being thankful for what you have and stop worrying about the if-onlys and the yesterdays. What about today? Because if you don't take a step closer today in some small way, then you haven't done anything. In my eyes, if you just want to achieve that goal, today is your greatest asset. Invest in self-development, read books, meet more people that think like you. That's so important. It's so important to surround yourself with the people who encourage you, that take you closer to that goal. I love John Maxwell, one of my favorite authors, and he says that no matter what level you're on in that tall building of life, you gotta surround yourself with the people that take you higher. That no matter what level you're on, just, spending 5 minutes with that person, the people I'm talking about, they don't suck anything out of you. They just give to you. They just encourage you. They don't judge you. They just tell you to go on. I have those people around me. And then you always also have those couple people that even if you're having a very bad day, and you go up to them, they'll make it even worse. Sometimes they discourage us from our dreams and goals. Absolutely. My parents, without really knowing how much motivation I had to get because I had so many obstacles against me to become a professional speaker. Sometimes my dad didn't believe in me becoming a professional speaker or making any career out of it. And it was difficult. It was difficult to believe in my dream when people discouraged me. But that's when it's up to you. Any career out of it. And it was difficult. It was difficult to believe in my dream when people discouraged me. But that's when it's up to you today. Well, if they don't encourage me, who else will? And the greatest way that I can explain all this so far in an illustration was at 19 years old. I got to speak in front of 300 sophomore students, and I had 7 minutes to talk. I was so nervous, my palms were sweaty, my knees were shaking. I got up there and I'm thinking, man, what am I going to say? And within 3 minutes, half the girls were crying. And this one girl in the middle of the room started weeping. And she couldn't control her tears. At that time, all of her peers were looking at her, and embarrassed, she put up her hand and she said, I'm so sorry, can I come up there and give you a hug? And in front of everybody, this 14, 15-year-old girl came up to me and she hugged me and she didn't want to let go. She wept and wept on my shoulder and she whispered in my ear, thank you, thank you, thank you. No one's ever told me that I'm beautiful the way that I am. No one's ever told me that they loved me. Man, talk about a purpose. Talk about something to live for when you can bring hope to somebody else. I thought, man, that is so cool. And I had a flashback back to age 13, 6 years prior to that. A speaker came to my school, and he had 7 minutes to talk. And he had all of us, 1,400 students. You could hear a pin drop on a hot Friday afternoon. And I was in Australia, and this speaker flew all the way from America. And I thought, man, what a cool job to get paid, to travel, and then to give hope. I couldn't think of anything greater. And I thought at age 13, well, maybe one day I'll be a speaker. When this girl hugged me, I knew that this is what I was born to do. And man, when that revelation hit me in my heart, man, I came home that day after speaking in front of those group of students, and I said, Mom and Dad, I know what I want to be for the rest of my life. And my dad's like, good, finish school first. I'm like, okay, Dad, I'll finish school. It's all good. But my mom's doing something in the kitchen, and she stops what she's doing, and she looks at me, and she says, so, what do you want to be? And I said, I want to be a speaker. She says, a speaker? I'm like, yeah, speaker. She says, what are you going to speak about? I said, I don't know. How's anybody going to know about you? I don't know. Are they going to pay for you? I don't know. Are you going to go alone? No. Who's going to go with you? I don't know. I want to redefine a couple words in your mind today. I want you to redefine in your vocabulary, obstacle equals opportunity. Meaning this, I had so many obstacles. I don't know how to speak. Well, surround yourself with speakers or read books about speaking. Get inspired. You can do something today that will take you closer. I wanted to get into real estate, so guess who became my friends? Real estate investors. I didn't know anything about marketing, but I didn't know that, obstacles are just weaknesses. I knew that this was now an opportunity to learn about marketing. How do you learn? Trial and error. You try. Sometimes you have to fail. Look at Thomas Edison. Does anyone know what Thomas Edison invented? How many times did Thomas Edison try to make a light bulb before he was successful? On the 10,000th attempt. On the 10,000th attempt. That's a lot of attempts. What purpose did he find that gave him the strength to fail 9,999 times. Well, once he was successful, he knew that his theory was confirmed, that if this worked, if this actually worked, this is a huge worldwide global revolution. It was a revolution. This is huge and big enough for him to say, I did not fail 9,999 times. Now I know 9,999 ways in how not to make a light bulb. Can you hear an amen? So in that context, every failure is a step closer to success. See your obstacles as opportunities. You know, maybe you want to become very successful at this business, so one day you want to give back to society at one stage. And maybe, you know, I have many friends who've started orphanages. You know, if that's your goal, put a picture of an African orphan next to your mirror and remind yourself of the why. Keep it fresh. This is why I'm doing this today. This is why I have the strength to fail today and to learn and to grow. There are always two sides to a coin, and some people can argue that, yes, of course, there is also an edge. Let's leave that for another day. But there are two sides to the word unknown. The scary side of the unknown, and then the exciting part of the unknown. Of the question, what if this actually works? What if this works? What if this is for me? Then you want to go all the way. Don't stop at the 9,999th attempt. What if Thomas did? Would have missed out. I've wanted to give up in life because I didn't see hope. See my goal, I had so much discouragement at my mainstream school in Australia because all the kids would tease me, and I'd try to put on a brave face, and I'd come home crying, and at night couldn't really go to sleep. I'd hear the voices, Nick, you'll never ever be anybody. Nick, no one's going to really look after you later on after mum and dad are gone. Nick, just give up. Nick, you'll never get a job. At age 8, I remember going to a wedding and being so depressed because I see the bride and the groom dancing, and I used to think to myself, I'm not going to get married. I can't even dance with my bride on our wedding night. I can't even hold my wife's hand. What kind of a father am I going to be if I can't even hold my kids when they're crying? People with arms and legs used to come up to me and try to encourage me and say, hey, Nick, everything's going to be okay. And I used to think to myself, everything's going to be okay. You know, I love my parents so much, and my parents love me and loved me so much all my life. But sometimes all they could do was hold me when I cried. Sure, you have obstacles here that's going to stop you from being the best marketer and the best business person, but there are more debilitating things that you're suffering on the inside. Family, relationship, your own self-esteem, your hurt, your loss. No amount of millions of dollars can ever bring your loved ones back in your life. No amount of alcohol can ever help you to forget about the regrets in your life. Get closer to the edge of wanting to give up. You think I have a disability? I think it's worse being in a broken home than having no arms or legs. We all have something. At age 8, I told my mum, Mum, I want to commit suicide. Age 10, I tried. I went into a bathtub. I turned over 3 times. And on the 3rd time, I realized I was going to leave a lifetime of pain on my parents' shoulders, and they didn't deserve that. So I love my parents more than I love myself, and so I decided to stick around. Man, am I glad I stuck around. Am I glad? And I can only share with you my story. I can only share with you what took me away from this. This is the lie that I'm not good enough, the lie that I'll never be anybody. And the truth was always there. There was always hope for me, but you just can't see it. There's always maybe success for you, but you just can't see it today. Just because there's no light at the end of the tunnel for you, maybe it's the last curve before that light shines. Yeah? If it's a straight tunnel, it could be a very long tunnel, but you can see the light at the end. Some of our tunnels are curving. It's when you can't see the light. Might be just around the corner for you. We all want to be happy. First thing is to know the truth. The truth has set me free of knowing who I am. First of all, that I'm not valued on how much money I have. I'm not a failure if I fail. I don't have to be like you. And when the world says you're not good enough, get a second opinion. You like that? You like that? I tell teenagers all the time, I see so many anorexic and bulimic teenagers try to change themselves. You don't have to change a thing. What's the point of being complete on the outside when you're broken on the inside? What's the point of holding your wife's hand when you can't hold her heart? What do you want? What do you want? Happiness. You want peace. You want love. You want joy. What I wanted. Money ain't gonna bring it to you. I was speaking in front of 350 CEOs in Singapore in November 2008, just as the global economic crisis started. I had 1 hour keynote speech there, and a billionaire came up to me, owned 3 banks, lost 45% of his portfolio. Came up to me crying. I said, "What's wrong?" He says, "I don't care about the money." I said, "Okay." I said, "What's the problem?" He said, "It's my daughter. My 14-year-old baby girl can't look at herself in the mirror and see beautiful." Talk about a rich man, poor. But a poor man, rich. I am more than complete on the inside. I know my identity and I know my purpose. I am loved and I love. Me, when the world says that I wasn't good enough, the truth is that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. There was a greater plan for my life. I don't believe in mistakes. That even the worst part of your life can come together. All things come together for the good. But you see, even the worst part of your life come together for the good. 4 years ago, I met a little boy with no arms and no legs. And the doctors told his parents, "We don't know why he was born that way. And we don't think he's going to walk." Then his doctor saw me and says, "Oh, he's going to walk." At 2.5 years old, little Daniel started watching videos of me swimming. And he started speaking, saying, "Swim like Nick, swim like Nick." Now he swims just like me. He's going to go to school. He's going to be depressed. He's going to be broken. He's going to feel alone. Then I can be his older brother and look him in the eye and say the words that I wish someone would tell me that I could believe. I could tell Daniel, everything's going to be okay. When you're in your storm, think out of the box. You don't know the why yet, as to why you're in that storm or why these things come to you. The more resistance you get in this life, the more persistent. Fire refines character. If you want more patience in life, then don't get angry when you're waiting in lines. Because you won't grow in patience until you exercise patience. Does that make sense? Resistance equals persistence. If no one carries you out of your storm, if you don't get that miracle, what if you become a miracle for somebody else and you carry them through their storm? Would your life be worth it? For me, it is. Man, I can't describe to you what it did for me when I saw my mum speak to Daniel's mum face to face and my dad speak to his dad. A year after meeting me, Daniel's mother said, "Nick, when I hugged you for the first time, it felt like I was hugging my son 24 years later. Nick, you're our miracle." I'll tell you right now, there is hope until you give up. And just because you can't see it, doesn't mean it's not there. But sometimes you fall down. I'm not going to jump off, don't worry. But what I will do is I'm just going to lay down here. So, okay, relax. Hello. So what do you do when you fall down? You get back up. Looks pretty difficult to get back up, doesn't it? Yeah. You don't know what you can achieve until you, but there are so many obstacles. It's an opportunity. But I'm going to fail. Every time I make a mistake, step closer to knowing how to get better. Hold on. Hold on. There is hope until you give up. If I try 100 times something and I give up, I'll never get up. But as long as I keep on trying, there is hope. Ah, it's slippery. Thank you very much. Let me tell you an example of persistence. You got to keep on trying, no matter what. So remember how I wanted to be a speaker, right? I had 0 invitations, 0 marketing experience, and I was not a professional speaker. So guess what I did? I picked up the phone, called the schools. I said, hi, my name is Nick, and I'm a speaker, and I was wondering if I could come and speak to your school. No, thank you. Okay, bye. Do you know how many schools I called before I got one yes? 52. No, 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 thank you. No, 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 thanks. Bye. 52 times. And on the 53rd time, they said yes, and I nearly dropped the phone. All right. No, actually, I was on hands-free. Thank God for hands-free. But one school said, yeah, we'll have you in. Why? Because on the 53rd call, I was like, hello, my name is Nick Vujicic, and I'm a professional speaker. And I was wondering if you have some problems with bullying and self-esteem issues at your school, and I was wondering if you want me to come and inspire them. Yeah, sure. Okay, great. So when, and we got the date down, and I got the location, I wrote it down and stuff with my foot. And then I said, well, I was wondering, how much are you able to pay from your budget? And she said, $50. I said, that's great. That's fine. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll see you then. See you next week. Bye. Hung up the phone, and I looked up the address. It was 2.5 hours drive away from my house. And I realized maybe if I start walking today, I might get there on time. So my brother was there, and I said, hey, Aaron, can you take me to speaking engagement, please? Now, we all know that speakers, you have a reputation, right? So you can't lock in something and then cancel. And it's my 53rd, call, and I finally got a yes, and I can't cancel it. I don't want to move it. It's all about reputation. Aaron, can you please take me? He said, no. I said, please. He said, no. I said, I'll pay you $50. He said, all right. So guess what? We did it. I paid him $50. Cost me another $50 in gas. It was negative 50 for the day. But that wasn't the worst part. You want to know the worst part? I got there, and guess how big the audience was? 20 people. 20 kids. Even worse, I got there and I said, well, how much time do I have? How does 5 minutes sound? We drove 2.5 hours to speak for 5 minutes. And it cost me $50. That's ridiculous. But it was net plus. You always got to look at the bottom line. What's the bottom line? I've done an accounting degree. You go to the net. Forget about the grass. Go straight to the net. What are you left with? A wonderful experience that taught me at least one thing about how I speak and how I engage. And I did a good job that day. That another school called me, and then another school called me, and then another school called me, and now I've spoken to 400 schools. It's up to you. Keep on trying. Have big goals, have big dreams, absolutely. So the unknown is exciting. Obstacles equals what? Now I want you to write this last one down. Success equals. Now leave that blank. After that, I want you to write a list on the left side of your page, 1, 2, 3. On the left side of your page, 1, 2, 3. And then in the middle of the page, I want you to write 1, 2, 3 again. So we're going to do 2 separate lists, side by side. And on the left list, I would like you to write out 3 weaknesses or 3 obstacles that you are facing that will hinder you from achieving your goal. Some of the weaknesses that some people come up with is, well, I lost so-and-so in my life. And obviously that won't change, unfortunately. I'm sorry about that loss. Or something tragic has happened, or you have a disease in your body that prevents you from doing something. Those things may not necessarily change. And I don't know how you feel. A broken heart is a broken heart. And I have no arms or legs. Obviously that hasn't changed. I've had no arms and no legs since birth. But I have found my destiny, and my hope is that if I have found mine, then you will find yours. If I have found my full potential, then you will find your full potential. And I can bet my bottom dollar that 2 out of 3 of your weaknesses that you put down can actually be seen as opportunity. That's my bet. Am I pretty right? Am I pretty right? Okay. So, Here I am. There's the goal. Let's say you get there. You did it. You did it. You got your business up. This company doubles in revenue within 12 months. You have clients and people calling you. You get there. Now what? Are you happy? What is success for you? Will you be actually happy? Will this give you peace? Yeah, sure, it's going to make your life better. I tell many teenagers, they listen to all sorts of music. You know what I'm talking about? But drugs, alcohol, sex, pornography, money. I just want to tell you that in my life, I've realized that if I put my happiness in temporary things, my happiness will be temporary. And my estimation is that most of you have been married at one stage of your life. And you see all these teenagers and college people who are single and are like, oh, I just can't wait to get married. And their goal is to get married, and then they get here and it's not all that they thought. They think, oh, my life's going to get easier when I get married. Any married person will go up to him and say, honey, if you ain't happy single, you ain't going to be happy married. Can you hear an amen? See, those are the married people. You know it. Don't wait for an outside circumstance to necessarily make you happy. Make the most of it today. Try to see the brighter side to life. Don't take yourself too seriously. The people that hurt you. You might think, well, I now deserve to hold a grudge against them, and we sort of feel better when we do that. I hold a grudge against someone. When truth is, we just carry that burden on our back. Maybe we hurt someone else out of that hurt. I've said it once and I'll say it again. One of your greatest assets is time. What's the point of having $1 billion when you got 6 seconds to live? Nothing. A poor man can be rich. And a rich man can be poor. Find out what that success is. The richest thing that I've ever come across and the sweetest thing above chocolate is love. That money cannot buy, chocolate cannot bring. Would you close your eyes, please? I want you to be honest with yourself today. I like to be real with people. So I want you to be real with yourself. If the sun did not rise for you tomorrow, who would you miss? Who would you have called tonight? What would you have said? What haven't you tried that you would try? Don't leave everything for tomorrow. You can leave some things, not everything. Pick up that phone today. Do it. Tell someone you're sorry. Whatever it is. And next time you look at yourself in the mirror, give yourself a little wink. Bit of a smile. Take a deep breath in. And try and enjoy today. Every day, my Creator asks me, do you trust me? And that to me is the greatest question of all, and that would be my greatest wish, that I would every day, in every circumstance, at every moment of my life, honor Him and honor everything I've been given to Him and for the greater purpose. That's all I want. I just want to be the man that I know I'm called to be, in righteousness, in patience, humility, in kindness, in love, in joy, in peace, self-control, meekness, all that. That is what I want. I want to be obedient to what I know I'm called to be. Love you guys so much. My name is Nick Vujicic. As you can see, I have no legs, but I have my little chicken drumstick here. And this thing, man, I actually use to drive my wheelchair and write and type on a normal computer. Who's got a computer at home? Cool. I can actually type 43 words. Drumstick, pretty cool. And I have 2 toes in it, so I can do the line. And then I have my little... And then I'm going to go back. You want to see me reversing? You want to see how fast this thing goes? All right, so I'm going to take a little bit of a run up here. All right, you ready? Really fast, right? Ready? You want to see it again? Up the aisle, hold on. All good. Ready? Hey, I got a horn. You want to hear it again? Pretty cool. Now, you want to see me around? Because outside, I take this around, and this is how I get around. But when I'm in my house, I don't really drive this around a lot. I actually get out, and so I can actually see this seat going down, goes all the way to the floor, which is... Then I unbuckle my... And then I can actually... Now, do you want to see how far I can run? Or how fast I can run? All right, you ready? Just stay down. You ready? Okay, ready? Marks, get set. All right, ready? On your marks, get set. Watch out, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to go. No, I'm joking. It's all good. All right, here we go. We're going to come back. All right. Here we go. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually jump from my wheelchair onto the table. Do you think I can do that? I can't. I'm just joking. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get Mr. Craig to put the table. Everybody say hi, Mr. Craig. Right. So you guys are just going to give me a little. All right. Beautiful. All right. So the first thing I want to do is really, really cool. With my chicken drumstick, I can actually call this a chicken drumstick. Did I tell you why I call this a chicken drumstick? I don't think so. I call this a chicken drumstick. First of all, it looks like one. And sometimes my dog thinks it's one. And so every now and then my dog comes and he starts biting on my foot. And I'm like, hit him in the head a couple of times, right? So my chicken drumstick is pretty cool. And I have 2 toes in it, so I can do the pine. And then I have my other little. You like that one? And that one just doesn't do much. But with this foot, I can actually write. This is my pen. So I can actually write quite neatly with my pen. So that's really cool. And so I learned how to write. You guys like drawing? Anybody like drawing? I love to draw. That's pretty cool. All right. So what else can I show you? Would you like to write with my mouth? Cool. I'm going to just get Miss Jeanette up here. Everybody say hi, Miss Jeanette. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a little note to your school. Is that cool? And I'm going to put pictures from my mouth. Is that cool? And you can keep it in your office forever. So, very, very cool. All right, here we go. We'll probably start with blue. Anybody like blue? We'll leave red for last. Here we go. Ready? So, you've got a school called what? Pottsville Beach Public School. All right, here we go. Ready? That's pretty long. Here we go. How do you spell deer? It's deer. Hey, I'm going to say. What did that say? Eva. Out. Everybody read that sentence? Okay. And that's it. Here we go. We're going to do, how about I draw for the boys a red motorcycle? All right. Doing a mono, a wheelie. We got to take this away. Is that cool? All right. And for the girls, how about I... Yeah, I love flowers. I love... Cool, man. Are you ready? Here we go. Is that cool? All right. At the bottom, green things. I'm going to put love Nick. Is that cool? All right, so. What's the date today? 16th of what? What year? You like that? All right. Thank you. Awesome. Now I want to talk a little bit about my life and how school was, because, a lot of people think that school sometimes is hard, because it is. You're not good at everything. There are also hard situations that people tease you. Who's been teased before? All right, so I want to talk about teasing. Is that cool? Can I talk about teasing today? All right. Now, is there anything good about being teased? No. If there's nothing good about being teased, then why do people tease each other? Put your hand up if you can tell me why people tease each other. In the blue shirt up the back, sweetie. Yeah, they want attention. They think they're cool out the front. Because they think